cheese shaft from Tianqi Studio. Last year, it truly succeeded. A phenomenon-level product within a single shaft rim. You can only buy 1 or 2 or 3 times the price once. And this year, after a year of refinement, the OEM factory, from Huemu Xian to Advice, captured. Actually, I was skeptical at first. After all, suggest case strength is still the field of a Metz shank rotation. Currently, the only one in the Tsuejo segment that can be considered crisp and crisp is the B1. Today's video will help you get to know more. This can be considered a comprehensive assessment of all aspects of quality so far. The most worthwhile part is Jianliang, which is a switch made by the Switch. First, the outer layer is milky white and yellow, and the top lid is creamy yellow. The wheel shape and bottom shell color scheme are the same as the V1. However, the actual color may still vary a bit. So if we compare directly, it might be because the storage time is relatively long. V1 doesn't look as cute as it looks. The most obvious difference between the two is still in the upper cover. V2 has 7 hits. V1 is a smooth plate. For frying and lubrication, they still use Kenic alloys. A slight lubrication shaft is covered inside the mesh. The lubrication is concentrated in some areas. The lubrication method provides uniform lubrication at the rib contact points. 2-cut slices don't really lubricate much. A small portion. The moisturizer is quite thick. Both ends of the Peach King have melting treatment, and the bottom shell is treated accordingly. The film discussion seems to be a bit less polished, guiding ghosts. Only a tiny trace. Just consider it as no moisturization. At Tawang Fiber, there are quite a few changes here. The previous layoff plans were all a huge mess here. This time it was very few. This GV2 really does have something special. First, in terms of sound performance, its noise control is excellent. Take this box as an example. When it's empty or dark, even the friction from the earclose connecting system is very subtle. After installing the machine, there is no shredding noise or oil paper separation noise. It can be said to be quite exaggerated, with reduced weather on the court, and yet he managed to perform like this. As for the sound, but unlike the CSV1, it doesn't have the sharp, high-frequency crispness of the CSV1, nor like the recent Kinic crispest sound. The B1 has a bomber-like high-frequency loudness. It's not that these two are bad. They are all leading figures in their respective vocal expressions. It is said to be so it belongs to the goal. It was heading toward Suexiang, but when it hits bottom, you can feel the sound rising upward. However, it might be because the bottom shell is thickened. The moment he uttered his voice, it was as if something was wrapping around him. This creates a thick, crisp sound. Let's compare them directly. He also has 74 V1, and also the Kenic 1. V1 is a fairly obvious difference compared to others. Another method is to give you a rough impression. That means you place the brittle switch of Huamaxin on a 1.2 mm thick PCB. The sound produced is placed on a 1.6 mm thick PCB. The sound you make is roughly like this. As for the feel, actually, there's no need to say much about sword advancement after the SAR axis. The switch feel has been greatly optimized. This one is no exception. The degree of axle wobble is well controlled. It's a type that doesn't feel very shaky. However, when pressing, you won't feel any discomfort in the hand. There's absolutely no need to worry about its feel in the hand. And this is said to be a special bridge spring. Compared to that, it might have a little effect. But personally, I prefer switches with medium pressure. The pressure rating spring is not very comfortable for me. And there's another thing I rarely mentioned before, but the friend who actually sells switches and uses them faces the most common problem. The recent Gionic switch has had poor spring quality. If you have a low latency keyboard on hand, you can give it a try. This means frequent probability or frequent connection issues. Actually, it has always been accompanied by advice from Kihumu. The switch is produced by Zinzia Bullet Factory. It wasn't particularly severe before, so I didn't pay much attention. Recently, this Giantjike has been a bit unclear about what is going on. I won't go straight to the name, and also afraid of offending people. Anyway, recently there have been many very serious double tap issues. This is actually a product quality issue. Fortunately, we customized keyboard players have strong self-adaptability. If the switch quality isn't good, I'll find one. Just use the keyboard with the PCB with higher latency. They rarely cause trouble for manufacturers. But if you ask me, unless you're buying a switch, go back and build a keyboard, just type it out occasionally. Usually, I just keep it in the cabinet for collectors, so those players don't really care. But if it's just used as an input tool, it's honestly frustrating. Okay, your switch sounds clean and pleasant, with an unbeatably smooth feel. But everything depends on different electricity usage conditions. Whenever I use electricity for a single use, it's a direct wireless combo. Of course, this is mainly a problem with the ammunition factory. Nor is he the regiment leader. To be honest, the regiment leader was also a victim. There are many things they can't do. By the way, here I used this flawless Dyna, because it has very low latency and is adjustable. Let's borrow its features. Here we use CheeseVR, and the ones everyone has always thought are of excellent quality. Let's compare the headguard performance of Kaihua's Snowtop Coco switch. It's not about raising the axle or making it a black thread. Actually, I haven't really done much switching reviews lately, so they don't fear offending others. But this issue really affects the player experience. So let's take it out and talk about it. And now, looking at the axles, you can see they've already been modified. That's all for this video. Thank you all for watching. See you in the next video.